What is up everyone, Luke here, and time for another Tutorial Tuesday video. This week we've got the Wallspin, alright? It's a parkour based movement that you can use in freerunning, or if you just want to look cool and do a spin around a wall, go ahead, okay? So this is the object that we're going to be doing it off of. It's got a slight slant which makes it easier for when we're learning. I'll take you over to a flat wall a little bit later. It's pretty much exactly the same, except from obviously you need to drive up the wall more rather than sort of into and out the wall, okay? So this move can be taken off of one foot, which feels disgusting, so I'm not going to show you that way. I'm going to show you the sort of gather step way. So we step in, it's not quite a 2 foot punch, but we step in with 2 feet like that and take off together. It's kind of like a plyometric jump. You're going to have your pivot hand and your push hand. So if you cartwheel to the left, I would probably say wall spin to the left, but as you probably already know by now, I'm backwards. I cartwheel to the left and wall spin to the right. So do whatever feels comfortable. Choose a pivot hand. Mine one's my right hand. Your pivot hand will go so your fingers are pointing down to your toes, okay? And that arm does exactly what it says, it pivots. So all you do is move around that arm stays on the whole time. Your left hand, if you're going to the right, will push you round, and obviously if you're going the other way, your left hand will be the pivot and your right hand will be the push. Alright. So to start off, we're going to have our hands ready to go on the wall. No point obviously running up like this because our arms won't be ready. So as we take a step in with our 2 feet, we're going to jump up and get our hand ready in place. We're going to bring our hips up and over, okay? Now you need to look at which way the wall's angled. Obviously it's angled that way, so we can bring our hips across like that. We don't want to go too far into the wall because we'll collapse, and also we don't want to go too far away from the wall because we'll cut it short and we might land low. Alright? I'm going to go ahead and show you a few wall spins right now, show you from different angles. I'll slow it down. I'll cover some main errors and how to build up to this trick. So hopefully you can see what I've been talking about in the beginning part of this video. Take a look at these slow-mos from all the different angles. Pause it and play it frame by frame if you have to, because that's how I feel I learn best personally. Now you may have noticed on this particular object here we have these sort of rock grips. Now this can actually be quite handy because on your pivot hand you've got more support. If your arm's on a flat surface, it could slip down, especially because this isn't the most grippy material. Obviously a brick wall would be tons better. But just to cover a few main bad points and common errors with this trick. You can have your arm too bent, which means your body's too close to the wall and your feet will scrape, or your whole body will just go into the wall. You can have your arm sort of that direction. Obviously once you get round to a certain point, you're not going to be able to twist your arm anymore, so make sure your arm's that way, because when you come out, it will come out and it will actually be facing the right way, the most natural way obviously, which is just palms down. Other errors include taking off too close to the wall. So obviously like there, if it's an object like this which is slightly inclined, we can hit our knees, or too far back. Taking off too far back is probably the worst thing because you're going to miss the wall and then just go like that, and that's not going to be pretty. But apart from that, everything which I've covered in the first part of the video, if you've got all of them steps right, then you shouldn't have any problems at all. I'm going to quickly cover a few progressions of this trick because it can be quite daunting when you first learn it. So here we go. So progression number 1 may seem really simple and stupid, but just actually start off on the floor. So just practice getting your body around your arm. So obviously have your pivot hand and your push hand. Once you've done it once, obviously start to build it up more and more, so you're coming out properly and you're spinning all the way around that pivot hand. Step 3, you can take it to an open top object like this. So when I say open top, I mean something not like a wall, but something where your leg can actually come over the top of it. That way you don't have the trouble of hitting your knees, clicking your toes, etc, etc. Do exactly the same thing, just spin around. So progression 4, don't try it on something like this which spins because it's disgusting, but you can try doing a palm spin. Now a palm spin is a wall spin but not on a wall, if that makes sense. So pretty much like the last one, but this time we've actually got a longer obstacle, so we have more room, more of the way for our feet to travel around. Progression 5, this time you're actually going to go for the whole thing. Ideally, I'd say to start off with, don't find something with rocks on like this, just find a flat surface, not completely flat, obviously like a vertical wall, but something inclined. If you can, have a mate spot you. Now for this, you're just going to have, similarly to the side flip tutorial which I taught you, you're going to have your right hand on their left hip and your left hand on their right hip and help spin them round. But you can kind of get in the way of their body in this, so just be careful. I'd say personally, just go for it by yourself, you're going to be safe. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to land on your side, and that's what we have these handles here for. So what can I say? I'm going to take you over to the vertical wall now. Everything's pretty much exactly the same, but I'll cover some few important points on that. So here's our flat wall. As I said before, it's pretty much the same. The only thing is obviously with the incline wall, your feet can sort of go over the top. With this, you really got to make sure that your body's sort of parallel to the wall, so your feet can spin round. Obviously, if your chest's leaning in, your feet are going to come into the wall and they're going to scrape. You can hurt your toes, break your shoes, whatever. So everything apart from that's the same. You jump in, have your pivot hand, so my right hand. This time it wants to go about waist height, belly button height, maybe a little bit higher. I guess it depends on how tall you are, but for me, that seems comfortable for me. That's where I put my hands. Obviously the left hand's there to push me round. As I exit, I can either exit on 2 feet or 1 foot then the other. So if you're spinning to the right, you land on your right leg first. If you're spinning to the left, you land on your left leg first. So try and obviously do it the same way as you think about it, in the sense of, if I was to do a cartwheel out of it or a combo out of it, how would I step out? So I cartwheel to the left. So yeah, at the beginning I said learn the wall spin to the left, but you could learn it both ways, because when you come out with your left leg forward and you can go into a combo. So there's 2 different ways to think of it. But I'll show you a few different angles now. This sort of landing here is perfect for landing, but not so good for taking it off. So if you are learning, you could try and find something like this. Right guys, so to summarise with the wall spin, obviously we're taking off 2 feet. You can't do it with 1 foot, but stick with 2 feet, like a plyo technique. You step in with one, then the other foot, take off both feet together. You have your arms nice and straight, your left hand a little bit bent, that's going to be your push hand, and your right hand's going to be your pivot hand. So your legs will come into the wall and around your arm, over your arm, and land on the feet, obviously land on the balls of your feet. Common errors, try not to bend your arms too much, take off too far away from the wall or too close to the wall. Start on an inclined object and work your way up to flat. If you need to, get someone to spot you, and if you need to, throw in a mat or take off something soft like this, and you should be fine. Apart from that guys, that was the end of the wall spin tutorial. Feel free to check out my YouTube and check out Freerun's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out PKFR World for all sorts of things on parkour and freerunning, including new tutorials, new members and stuff like that. I'll see you next week for Tutorial Tuesday. Drop me a comment down below which one you would like to see.